to watch my second YouTube video. That is great, give yourself a pat on the back. Today we are up at Hartside, where Hartside Cafe used to be before that. Unfortunately burnt down. We're tearing up and down Hartside Pass in the Mark II. I'm going to show you some in-car footage of what the car's like to drive, talk a little bit about the car, and throw in some cinematic shots as well. So I hope you enjoy. Things first, let's talk about power. Now I mentioned in the last video that it's a 2.8 VR6, which naturally aspirated, made around I think it was about 174 brake, but I would not quote me on that. There's probably someone out there that will be able to tell me otherwise. However, my 2.8 VR6 is supercharged. This makes 277 brake horsepower, tuned by stealth. In a little car like this, it's a lot of fun. VR6 noise is just addictive. This thing needs to be heard. Oh, listen to that. This is actually little bit of a handful on these roads. It's an open diff, so one wheel will let go, but it does hook quite well with it being supercharged. It's not like turbo, like all of the boost comes on all at once. It's very linear in the way it drives, which is actually quite nice. It's quite manageable, especially in a light chassis like this, because there's not a lot of weight in this car. It only weighs about a ton. So you're definitely with a lightweight and the power that it's got and torque, it definitely gets up and moves, and you wouldn't want it to let go. So with it having an open diff, it could be quite, you know, might catch you out sometimes, but because it's not turboed and it's supercharged, it feels very NA to drive. Brakes, Porsche Brembo 4 pots, perfect on a road like this. Big anchors and big calipers, 280mm C-hook discs, Brembo pads, stop the car like it's run into a wall, which is exactly what you need. So the reason this car makes an absolutely unbelievable noise, in my opinion, is not just that it's a VR6, and VR6s, although I might be a bit biased, I've got two. They are an awesome sounding engine. This has a straight through stainless steel exhaust system on it with a Scorpion back box, and that's it, and it sounds awesome. Tyres, I'm only running Nexen, I think they're Nexen tyres. Nexen tyres, to be fair, they're not, you know, your Michelins, your Toyos, you know, they're not a track tyre. They're quite a general tyre, but they are quite a good tyre. They're not really expensive, but to be honest, I don't really have a problem with this car hooking. If you want it to spin, if you want to light a tyre up, it will. But it's not like you have to be really careful to get it to hook. It hooks quite well, even on these tyres. And yeah, they're just a good all-round tyre. But like I say, they do hook quite well. So if anybody finds themselves driving past Hartside, you have to make an effort and detour and do Hartside Pass. It can be a little bit busy sometimes, the road up and down to Hartside. The road and the scenery, especially on a day like today, is just unbelievable. And if you've got a good car, good platform, good chassis that's chuckable on a B road, you're going to have a lot of fun. There's lots of twisty bends, smooth road. You know, you're not particularly going fast, but you can have a lot of fun up and down Hartside. So I get asked a lot, what is it like to drive now that it's you know, VR6 engine conversion? People seem to think that the VR6 is a heavier engine, which it is a heavier engine, and obviously mine has a little bit of extra weight now with it being supercharged. Supercharger actually was surprisingly heavy. Honestly, it's neither here or there. You can tell that there's a bit of extra weight at the front, and now that it's running the power that it's running, it doesn't feel comfortable getting chucked around back roads. It feels almost, especially for this road, it feels almost too quick. By the time you're on it, you're ready to, you know, you're into the next bend, you need to be hard on the brakes, and it'll cock a wheel and it'll feel like it's loose. So it's more of a straight line car now, this, which doesn't mean you can't have fun on roads like this. You just have to be a little bit more careful, make sure that you've got traction, make sure that you know the road, you know what bends are coming up. You can kind of slow down, you know, before the bend, make sure you're going to get round it and not get chucked off the road. But yeah, it's neither here or there, to be honest. Personally, good suspension setup, good brakes, good tyres, and you won't tell the difference. I know a lot of people do the 180 conversions. Very popular conversion these days. In my opinion, yeah, you'll get good power out of a 180, but they don't make that noise, and the noise for me just makes me pick this engine all day long. Listen to that. There is no better noise than that, which is a shame really, because obviously we're going to see the internal combustion engine die out at some point. We're already seeing big engines die out. Even supercars are getting smaller engines that are turbocharged. You know, big companies are going electric vehicles now. I think VW actually do make the VR6. I think it gets put into something. I might be wrong. But the R32s, Mark III VR6s, R36s, you know, but the world's going green. All the environmentalists are getting their own way. So as far as the steering feels, it feels, you know, good connection to the road. It's actually got the Mark III power steering setup that came with the Mark III donor car. And it still feels, I mean, obviously it's nice and light when you're in a car park. It's not like, you know,
Good morning.